everybody, this is Jason from the Seymour Library, coming to you today with a Curious Kids activity. Today we're going to talk about the digestive system. Here's a diagram. The digestive system is a system in your body that breaks down your food and gives us the energy we need, and also just puts out the waste, the food that we don't need, which comes out as poop. So as you can see in the diagram, hopefully, it starts out with the mouth, and then you have the esophagus, which is the big long tube. Then it goes into the stomach. Your food goes into the stomach and through the intestines, then comes out the rectum, or through the rectum and out the anus, which is pretty much the digestive system. Today, we're going to show you kind of how this works in an experiment. But before I do that, I want to give you some cool facts. The digestive system produces 2 pints of saliva a day. So the water in your mouth, that's called saliva, and that your body produces 2 pints, which is almost about the size of 2 pop cans. So that's how much saliva it produces all day. The small intestines, which is where most of the digestion happens, if you were to stretch that out, it would stretch 23 feet long. That's about the size of a tennis court. Excuse me. Your stomach can hold 4 pounds of food at one time. And the whole digestive system, from your mouth all the way down through your rectum, to your rectum and anus, if you stretch that all out in a big line, it would be about 30 feet long, which again is about the size of a tennis court, a little bit longer. So today we're going to simulate what the digestive system does. So here I have a piece of bread and I have our bowl. So our bowl is going to represent our mouth. I also have an apple. So the first thing we do when we eat is we chew up our food. So these scissors are going to represent our sharp teeth called the canines. And that's what cuts our food like this. Just cuts our food up like this. That's what the canines do. So I just have a piece of bread here. It's a hot dog bun that I'm cutting up. Then I have an apple, and as you can see, it cuts our apple. So these scissors represent our teeth. And we use those canines to cut through hard stuff to help break down our food into smaller pieces. And while this is going on, your body will produce saliva. So we have some apple in here, and we have that. So that's when we use our canines. And our body will produce some saliva, which we're going to just pour some water in. A little water, saliva. And we also have molars in our mouth, which are the flat teeth, and they crunch stuff up. So I'm going to use this cup like it's a molar, and I'm going to smash all this food up. I'm going to smash it up till it gets really small. This is going to be kind of nasty, but this is what your body does. It breaks up your food. This is your mouth breaking up your food just like it does. As you can see, it's getting smaller and smaller in there as we break it down. And a little more saliva, and break it down a little bit more. Then after it goes in our mouth and we chew it, we swallow. So right now, the food is in our mouth, which is up here, and we swallow, and it comes down the big long tube here and goes into our stomach. But the big long tube that we're going to use, we're going to act like this is our tube, which is called the esophagus. And it's a big muscle that moves back and forth that helps push the food down into our stomach. So that's our esophagus. And what's going to happen is I'm going to pour a little orange juice. This badge is going to represent our stomach. We're going to pour some orange juice in here. And the orange juice represents our acid that's in our stomach that helps break down our food. So what happens is we chew our food until it's small, which is what we've been doing. And then we take our food out of our mouth and it goes into down our esophagus, which is separate. So we'll go down into that, into our stomach. So we're going to dump our food into our stomach. And this is going to be a messy experiment. But put our food into our stomach like that. And then, while it's in our stomach helps break it down more. The acid in there helps break it down more like this. So this is the food in our stomach. And it's just going to break this down more and more. Like this. So then after it gets in our stomach, it goes to our small intestine. And to represent that, I just have a pair of pantyhose that I've cut. So the food will go in our small intestine. So we're going to dump all our food into our small intestine. And when our food, this is what I have this barrel for, goes into our small intestine, that's when we get our nutrients. Now I'll show you how that works. So we dump all this in, and as you can see, the water and stuff is already coming out, some of it. So it goes through our stomach and goes into our small intestine like this. I'm trying to make sure we get all the food out of our stomach here and into our small intestine. So it goes down our small intestine, and remember, the small intestine is the part of our body that's like 23 feet long. It goes into our small intestine like that. And while it's in our small intestine, this is where the food becomes broken down even more, and the nutrients we then begin to start coming out. This here represents our bloodstream, which the whole point of the digestive system is to get the food into our blood. And if we dip this in, you're going to see that stuff coming out. It's getting cloudy, and that's all the nutrients coming out of our small intestines into our bloodstream. That's all the good stuff that we need to keep us strong. You see how my water's getting cloudy? You see stuff going in there? And that's where we get our nutrients from. Then as it goes from our small intestine into our large intestine gets all the excess water out. As you can see, the juice coming up, all the water out that we need. And then it goes from a small intestine through our rectum and comes out what is called our anus, and that is what becomes our poop, which is all the leftover food that our body doesn't need. So it comes down through here, comes down, it works its way down through the large intestine, also known as the colon. We'll work our way down, all the good stuff comes out that we need, and eventually it will come all the way down, and out our rectum, and that is our poop. As you can see that dropping in the bucket there. And that is how our digestive system works. So again, to review, we start by chewing up our food. It goes down that long pipe that you see in there, called the intestines, into our stomach. And our stomach acid helps start to break our food down into smaller pieces. And it goes through the purple part, which is our small intestines, and that's where all the nutrients get into our bloodstream, which is what we use this for. Then it goes into the large intestines, which is the kind of pinkish thing right here. Goes in our large intestines, and that breaks down our food even more and gets all the excess water out that we need from the food and makes our poop. And the poop goes through the rectum and out our anus. And that is, again, how the digestive system works. So it's a pretty cool system. We need it to keep our body strong. If it's not working right, then we can't get the nutrition we need. I hope you enjoyed this video. You guys have a good day. We'll see you next time.